One-on-one, who has more to prove, Antonio Brown or Le'Veon Bell? Yardbarker NFL writers Michael Tunison and Chris Mueller address some of the hottest issues in the league. This week's topic, Mueller 8 isn't a stretch to say that the Pittsburgh Steelers were the epicenter of the NFL world in 2018, despite not qualifying for the playoffs. Most of the attention Bell may have come out the financial loser in his deal with the Jets, at least compared to what the Steelers were offering, and Adam Gase may not have wanted him in the first place. But Brown is the NFL is a quarterback league, so Brown must prove that he was the more important part of his partnership with Roethlisberger. Brown's detractor, if he makes beautiful music with Derek Carr, and emerges as a leader in what could be a tumultuous Raiders locker room, not only will Brown force critics to cast a wary eye toward Roethlisberger, he'll also cement his status as, at worst, a top 5 receiver of all time. A bad year would raise another, bigger question pertaining to both players. How fair is it to either player to view this season as a prove? Tunison, Bell and Brown are standout cases of players using what limited power they have to dictate their circumstances and maximize their earnings. It's true that Brown, given the money he lost by not playing, Bell might have cost himself considerably in 2018, though it's hard to say for sure. Basically, there's also extra scorn being heaped on Bell for, unlike Brown, not playing this situation quite as cannily. Coming out and have Mueller I can understand, if not agree with, fans siding with ownership when a player and a team have a dispute, contractual or otherwise. Their interests surged. The worm turned for Brown with the Pittsburgh fans, and with some media, and it turned in spectacular fashion. If you don't believe me, unlike Bell, Brown got his money. He had no guarantee. His story won't just be told on the field, it will be told on the internet. The best revenge sounds like a lot on the line to me. Tunison Owl, the money has already become more important to Bell since women are apparently to the tune of $500,000. I agree that Brown, but surely there must be something to be said for helping make the Jets a consequential team for the first time in a decade. Yes, it's related slideshow NFL minicamp highlights provided by Eman.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park,